Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk a little more yogic philosophy, covering the fourth yama and the fourth niyama, which is Brahmacharya and Svadhyaya. And these two go together, and I'll explain a little bit how they go together. But first, let's talk about them individually. So Brahmacharya is this idea of conservation of energy. And each of us have a finite amount of sacred energy with which we can direct toward whatever purpose we have in life. It is a finite resource, so it's something that is incredibly valuable, and it is something that we don't have an infinite amount of. And so this fourth yama, it asks us to be intentional with how that energy is being used, with where it's being directing, and giving us the opportunity to recognize where our energy might not be going toward that which serves us. And there are many ways that this can happen. This can happen when people suck the energy out of you. You may know somebody in your life, or maybe multiple people in your life, that just suck the energy out of you, and you give them your energy. You give them this very sacred resource. And it's not that you have to get something back from them, but you directing your energy toward them is not serving you. It is maybe causing you needless suffering. And that is where we want to recognize whether or not that relationship is something that we need to have in our life. So there is that form of recognizing where our energy is going. So people can suck our energy, or experiences can also be something where we want to direct our energy toward the things, where we want to direct our energy in an intentional way when it comes to our experiences, when it comes to what we're trying to accomplish, when it comes to how we are walking through this life. And if we're not mindful, then so quickly we can start directing our energy toward things that are actually causing us suffering. And one of the things that I like to talk about, and it was something that really resonated with me, is this idea of when you direct energy towards something, you are basically recreating that experience over and over and over again. And I get annoyed fairly easily. I really do have a lot of patience. I have, I don't know, I think I really tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, maybe more often than I even should, but it's just the way I'm wired. And, however, I can get annoyed, and I will feel it, and I'll feel that like twinge of annoyance. And sometimes it's really hard for me to let it go. And in that process of being annoyed, my energy gets directed toward the experience of being annoyed. And then I keep being annoyed, and I stay annoyed because I'm literally directing energy toward that experience. And when I continue to direct my energy toward that experience, that's what I'm going to receive in return. So that can go for all kinds of emotions. Something like anger. If you are insisting on being angry and you're directing so much energy toward being angry, then that becomes the experience that keeps getting returned to you. So that is another way to think about how we are directing energy. And the last thing that I want to say about this is that when you have that finite resource. So if I have just the energy that I can hold in my hands, and this amount goes here, and this amount goes here, and this amount goes here, then I might not have enough left to direct toward the things that I really want to direct my energy toward, or I'm super passionate about, or if I really want to be able to direct more energy toward my family, but I'm being pulled in all these different directions, then it gets really hard, because again, we only have so much. A good friend of mine once shared with me, because I tend to spread myself thin and I tend to have a lot of things going on at the same time, and for the most part I like it that way, but there are also times when it gets overwhelming. And he said that you can only truly have like energy, time, space for the number of things that fit on one hand. And, you know, if that's family, one job, two jobs. I have in my life, right now, I really think that I have 3 full-time jobs, which is, I mean, it really, if I'm doing those to the best of my possible abilities, then that's like 3 fingers already. And then I'm really limited with the rest of my energy and what I can direct that toward. So taking a little inventory of your priorities and how many priorities you have and how those are being reflected in the amount of time and energy that you are spending on each one of those is a really great way to practice Svadhyaya, which is self-study. So Svadhyaya is the study of the self, and I love pairing these two together, because when you are trying to practice Brahmacharya, the first thing that you need to do is you need to figure out where your energy is going. You need to figure out where your energy is being directed. And that can really only be done through reflection and self-study. And when it comes to self-study, some people get a little hesitant about it, or maybe it can even be kind of scary, because looking in the mirror can be a scary thing, or it can be something that causes some uncomfortable feelings, or maybe it leads to a little bit of wanting to protect the ego. But the more you practice self-study and are able to study yourself without judgment, that becomes this really wonderful tool to help you live your life in a more intentional and mindful way, and also direct your energy in a more intentional and mindful way. And so those two coming together leads to this beautiful relationship of being able to take inventory of how you are directing your energy. And I don't even like to say spending. I try and avoid saying that word because it has such a, it has such a weird connotation, but how you are directing your energy, how you are sharing your energy. Because a lot of times we're sharing our energy, and we're sharing our energy with people we love and care about, or things that we are passionate about. We're sharing that. We're not just spending it. And really studying how we are doing that, and then through that study and reflection, bringing even more mindfulness and more intention to how we are directing that energy. So, couple things you can do. Journaling on this is great, and making that priority list and making a list of priorities as far as what you prioritize most in your life. And, looking at those top 5, especially, what are the top 5? And then on next to it, write a list of the things that you direct the most energy toward. And typically, when you look at those lists side by side, a lot of times they don't match up. And so what we want to do is hopefully over time, with practice, with self-study, start to have those lists match up a little bit more. Thank you for joining me today. Look forward to talking to you soon.